Alright, so what is up YouTube? I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you sent in the other day on my Snapchat and Instagram. Answering some questions in greater detail to give you guys a bit more information, a better understanding and some more help on that specific topic that you sent in, and overall just give you my top tips on that subject. Now originally what I was going to do was answer all your questions in an individual video. But what I found out is most of the questions that you sent in, my answers were kind of short. So instead of doing short videos individually for each question, I thought I'll select some of my favourite questions that I read on my Snapchat and Instagram and put them all together in this video and answer them all in one go. So hopefully this video gives you a bit more of an understanding on the question that you sent in and any other questions that other people sent in that you maybe didn't think of. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video and answer these questions with my top tips. Alright, so as you can see, the first question that got sent in was, how do you drop fat, or how do you go about cutting and dieting in the most safe and effective way? Now, my first tip that I'm always going to say to anybody when it comes to dropping fat is, when it comes down to your calories, bring your calories down gradually. So many people I see, they will cut their calories in half, where they'll go from, let's say for example, 3,000 calories and they'll slice it straight in half and they'll drop the calories down to 1,500. Now this is what you need to be doing to put your body in a calorie deficit to drop the fat. But if you slice your calories that much so quick, what's going to happen is when you hit that plateau stage, you're going to have nowhere to go. You're going to have no room for improvements. You're going to have nowhere to make any changes or alterations, and you're just going to hit that brick wall. You end up having a plateau, and what will happen is you end up just giving up on yourself. The weight won't be dropping anymore, and you'll probably end up just giving up on your diet overall. So the first tip I would always say is bring everything down gradually. We all know that it's about putting your body into a calorie deficit, but we need to do this over a slow process. Don't just bring calories straight down and starve your body. Bring them down gradually. So that is the main goal that you want to focus on. Not just bringing the calories down, more so expending more energy so you can actually keep your calories kind of high. That still puts your body into a calorie deficit while you're still actually burning fat at the same time. Hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. So also another tip that I'll give is, when it actually comes down to your training sessions, I see so many people opting for volume, where they're doing supersets, drop sets, giant sets, just reps on reps on reps. I would always say the best thing to do is try and keep your weights as heavy as possible. The more the heavy weight training that you do, the more your heart rate increases. The more your heart rate increases, the more energy that you're expending. Further calories are being burned, putting your body into a further calorie deficit. So try and keep your weights in the weight room as heavy as possible. Lift as heavy as you can. Rep range can vary from person to person, but I would say a guideline is anywhere from 10 to 12 repetitions per exercise. And lastly, the most important tip of all is just take your time and be patient with it. So many people are trying to rush when it comes to the cutting phase, and they want to see the results happen overnight. It's not going to work like this. And if you try and work it like this, what will happen is after a week or two, you'll just give up. You just won't be able to go anymore. You'll be fatigued, you'll be burnt out, and you'll just end up giving up on the whole thing, and you'll just go back to square one. You have to be patient with everything. Believe in the process. There will be days when you wake up and you feel like you're not seeing any results, you're not feeling like there's any changes, but just be patient with it, keep it going, and then what happens is the day after that or 2 days after that, you'll then start to notice more changes. So be patient on those days where you feel like nothing's happening, believe in the process, and just overall take your time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Alright, so moving on to the next question, and it is my thoughts overall on drug enhancements, aka steroids. Overall, I would say I agree with steroids being used in the bodybuilding, especially if you are a competitive bodybuilder. To be able to compete on stage, especially in these categories and federations where there are no drug tests, I totally agree with using enhancements. Now, the thing is what you have to understand is drug enhancements don't replace the hard work that you have to put in. They aid into the work that you have to put in. You still have to work with 100% work ethic. You still have to go into every training session and give it everything you got. You still have to stick to every single meal, eating 2 to 3 hours a day, eating 6 to 7 meals a day, doing every cardio session. Whether you're on drug enhancements or whether you're not, you still have to do the same work. The only difference is you have a greater benefit if you are on drug enhancements. They're just going to aid into your recovery, your growth, your strength, and overall just getting you to your goals a lot quicker than the person who's not on drug enhancements. It doesn't completely change everything. You're not automatically going to be able to take these drug enhancements and then do no work at all, and the muscle's just going to grow and the body fat's just going to drop. It don't work like that. You still have to put in as much work as a person who is not using drug enhancements. But all it's going to do is just going to speed up your progress a lot quicker than the person who is natural. So I totally agree with drug enhancements altogether. There's so many, different stories and different sides when it comes to drug enhancements, and everyone has their own opinions. My opinion is I agree with using drug enhancements, especially if you are a competitive bodybuilder. The only thing that I would say is, if you're somebody that's new to the bodybuilding industry or just training in general and you're considering using drug enhancements, do your research first. If you haven't done your research on drug enhancements, I totally disagree with people like this. If you're sticking things in your body that you don't even know what it's doing or how it works or how much you should be using, etc., then that is when I totally don't agree with using drug enhancements. I would always suggest that you do your research, or if you don't want to do your research, ask somebody that has the knowledge or has the experience with using drug enhancements. Get some information from them. There's plenty of information out there on YouTube from some gurus out there, some drug enhancement experts, and just get some knowledge from them before you actually start taking anything. Do your research, do your homework, and then start taking drug enhancements. But overall, I totally agree with using them in the fitness and bodybuilding industry. Alright, so this is another good question that I got sent in, and it's, how do you combine fighting or any other sports with bodybuilding? Now, you can always combine other activities or hobbies that you like to do, whether it be fighting, MMA, football, rugby, with bodybuilding or just training. What I would say is, if you can fit in with all the other activities that you have within your daily life, with dealing with your partners, if you have a family, social life and things like that, if you can fit it all in, then by all means go ahead and do it. If it comes down to your strength, if you want to improve and progress in your training, so if you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to be a power lifter and you want to gain more strength in the gym, but you're seeing a decrease in your weights and your strength because of the other activities that you're doing with the other sport and daily activities, then I would then suggest that you have to then start choosing one or the other. If you're seeing a decrease in one of them, then you're going to have to start picking. But if you actually can find a way that you can fit it all in and you're not having any problems with your strength increasing in the gym, and you're not fatiguing really fast the next day, you're still being able to maintain that activity that you're doing, whether it be football, fighting, etc., and still lift heavy weights in the gym, then by all means combine them both together, stick at them both, the more the better. Now, this is a very common question that is always asked, and it's about what is the best supplements to use for your pre, intra and post workout shake. Now, first of all, we're going to start off with a pre-workout. I would always say the best pre-workout to use by far is your own motivation. There's no pre-workout out there that will get you into the gym and make you be able to have the best workout ever, other than your mindset. If you have a crap mindset, if you're feeling on a day where you feel depressed, you don't feel strong, you really don't feel like going to the gym, no pre-workout is going to change that. Your mind is much stronger than a pre-workout. So first of all, the best pre-workout I would always say is your mind. You want to get your mind in that state of, you want to go into that gym session with 100%, you're ready, you want to go and beat up all those weights, you want to be as strong as you can, you just want to give everything you got in that workout, then that is the best pre-workout to use. But other than that, if you're somebody that's actually looking for some sort of pre-workout, I think it comes down to an individual. Now, if you're somebody who's caffeine sensitive, so if you're very sensitive to stimulants, I would say a pre-workout that has no stimulants in it at all would be the best one to use for you. If you are not so sensitive to stimulants and caffeine, then I'll say a stimulant-based pre-workout will be ideal. But I would always suggest a stimulant pre-workout that is around 200 to 250 milligrams of caffeine. Anything more than that, I personally believe it's just an overdose. you don't need any more than 250 milligrams of caffeine in a pre-workout. So a perfect example, and I'm not being biased here, is Storm Sports Stimumax. Stimumax gives you exactly 250 milligrams of caffeine in each serving, and I think this is a perfect balance to give you that boost of energy. And again, I said, I'm not contracted by Storm Sports, so I'm not being paid to advertise or give a biased opinion. I'm personally giving you my opinion and a truth, honest opinion on what I believe is the best pre-workout. There are probably other pre-workouts that have around 200 and 250 milligrams of caffeine, but off the top of my head I can't think of any others. But if you know a pre-workout that has around 200 to 250 milligrams, by all means use that pre-workout. Anything more, I just think, is an overdose and you don't really need it. And I feel like what happens is then you actually end up getting desensitive to stimulants, and then what happens is you get no effect from that pre-workout. So now when it comes to intra-workouts, I'm not a big advocate of using intra-workouts, but lately I've been using maltodextrin in my intra-workouts. Now you'll see a lot of people on social media where they're using overdose amounts of intra-workouts, where they're using 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrates from a powder form in their intra-workouts. Now I personally believe all you're going to need is 20 grams. You're going to need something that's going to give you that extra boost of energy, an extra source of carbohydrates, without having that bloat during your workouts, because overall we want to be able to digest these carbohydrates nicely during our workouts and be able to still maintain a good effective workout. We don't want to be feeling bloated or discomfort during our workout. So anyone that's saying you need to stick 60 to 70 grams of these carb powders into your intra-workout, I personally don't agree with that. I think 20 grams, maybe 30 grams is maximum all you will need for a good intra-workout. So many different variations of carb powders out there. It's all about just finding the one that you don't get bloated off. That's the best opinion I would give, is use a powder carb form that you don't get bloated during your intra-workout. For me, that is maltodextrin. Now the most simplest answer for a post-workout is just either getting some isolate whey in from your favourite supplement company, or just going straight home and getting your post-workout meal in. I would always advise to get your meal in first, but if you can't get that meal straight away, some sort of isolate whey is a perfect post-workout shake. This can be 1 scoop, 2 scoops. How many scoops will come down to the individual person themselves, but overall just keep it simple. Use an isolate whey from the preferred company that you like to use, or just get yourself home straight away and get a good meal in. This could be chicken, rice, eggs, potato, pasta, minced beef, anything like that. Just get a good meal in. If you can't get a meal in, just opt for some isolate whey. Simple as that. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this video here, answering your questions that you sent in on my Instagram and Snapchat. I hope the questions were answered in the best way possible and you guys got some information out of it and got some help and advice from these questions with my tips. If your question did get answered, let me know by dropping a comment down below. If your question didn't, I do apologise, but there was actually so many questions that got sent in and I didn't want to answer them all because this video would have dragged on for ages. So again, I do apologise, but keep sending in those questions and maybe in the next video they'll get answered in there. So drop your questions down below on this video or keep sending them in on my Instagram and Snapchat. And like I said, if you're not following me on there, feel free to do so. All the links are in the description. If you're new around on this channel, please give a follow by subscribing to this channel. It does really help me out. And I say give this video a big thumbs up and I'll see you guys on the next video. As always, stay safe, make it happen.
Keep chasing shadows, they're always